Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the difference between having civilians in hardcore and military in hardcore are two different things. When a civilian uses the system and the government levers and the societal levers and their secret placement among the controlling people of society, yet they are civilians and never served in the military, or do not use firearms, or have never faced, war, or understood it, or even thought about it, or even seen that stuff, or even fathomed it. Yet they're going around drugging people at restaurants and in cafes, shutting us down on our technology, putting social scenarios around us with that all the world's a stage Shakespeare people, with artists who go to like NYU and the Corcoran School for Experimental Theater and Acting, but they're really just being deployed worldwide as so-called intelligence agencies or spies or whatever you want to call them. But they never actually served in the military and faced death or have the ability to be part of the machine that causes death to as many people as necessary. And that's what the military is. No matter what country you join the military, that's what it is. Law enforcement is totally different than military. Military people are haunted by what they know. Law enforcement people are usually not. Civilians who jump in the game are more basically like money-grubbing scumbags. And the reason I say that is because they take their money to hurt their friends, their families, and their communities, and to act like the KGB, the secret people who report on their neighbors, or their watchers. They are the watchers. And when it's part of society, but it's hidden, it's bullshit. If it's part of society and it's open and it's known, I'm cool with that. The military understands a global perspective. The military understands what a weapon will do, which is rip a person to shreds and kill them. It will end their life, and anyone who they choose to end the life of, the military will end their life. Civilians, on the other hand, maybe they get an order to poison somebody or to have them sent to the hospital, but they don't follow orders. Maybe they just put worms in someone's food rather than give them a dose of drugs that will kill them, or dose them with the drugs that it just hurts them, but it doesn't kill them. See, in military, you don't follow the rules of mercy or self-judgment. You don't put yourself in between yourself and what your supervisor says, which would be your superior commanding officer, not your friend or somebody who you do drugs with or go get prostitutes with or scam on chicks with, or if you're a woman, you find new victims for your pussy den. No. Military says do this and they do it. All these clowns out here in the streets who say they're military, they're not. None of them are. And if they are military, they're not running around telling people they're military when they're dressed in plain clothing. Not happening. So I don't know exactly what's happening with this worldwide revolution. The only team for worldwide revolution that makes sense to me is Team Family. Every other team is about circumcision, the cutting away, getting rid of the cancer cult, the cancel culture, the cancer culture, the ooh, gross, get away. That hex, vex, and perplex, and after that it's much more complex culture. The complex culture that doesn't see nothing, that doesn't hear nothing, that doesn't say nothing. Don't be a snitch. A snitch for what? If you're so worried about that, you might not want to be in the criminal world. And if you're in the criminal world, you might not really be a criminal. At least no more than like a CVS pharmacist clerk or a pharmacist or a doctor or many lawyers or, judges that just basically break the law and take money to break the law. So At this point, the only revolutionary ideas that I understand are ones that are productive, such as family ideas, which is the only productive scenario. All the other scenarios are exclusive and cut away. Gay power, well, that's about men being with men or women being with women. That's not very productive, ever. And if you get into that, oh, well, they're just for breeding, well, that's kind of fucked up too. If you get into white power, it's evil. If you get into black power, you're getting up there in the evil realm at this point in the year 2024, because guess what? Black power has no place for anybody at the leadership table except for black people. And the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's what they say. So, excuse me that I don't speak as clearly as I used to. The streets took me out back in December. They didn't take me out all the way, though. Question is, who's the streets? Who's the gangs? Who's cool? Who's not? Who's in the know? And when I say in the know, it means when somebody looks at you, you say, no, I didn't see that. No, I didn't hear anything. No, I'm not going to say anything. I did not see. So if you're in the know, you probably have a master's degree. You're part of that good foundation of society that walks around in shadows and hides things from you and me. So, or from us and me, or anyways, I think you're getting what I'm saying. These are my lyrics that I'm spraying. This is my freestyle verse, and it's not perverse. It's just a matter of the future course. And it's not about screwing over other people or getting married and having a divorce. It's actually about becoming mature enough as an adult that when you find a relationship that makes sense, you do no fault and you maintain it till the end. And it's easy for me to say because I have nothing or no one. But guess what? All those people I'm against are basically the ones who put me in the situation I'm in. Because I've not grown up around any family people. But I know a few family people. And they love me. And I don't mean like a wife. I mean like the elders of my family. And for you, I do this. I make all these things because if I don't survive, you will. And as you survive, we cannot let this evil continue to consume our humanity. And guess what? That's the weird thing is, right? The weird thing is like, when you come to Washington, D.C., all that shit that's around the world, the people here who represent it, on paper, on t-shirts, in the media, they don't really represent it here for reality. Case in point, when I'm begging in the streets here, among all these nonprofit leaders, these lawyers who have nonprofits and lead the world with all these freedom causes, the ones who get all the funding and all the ones who do all the paperwork to make sure the funding gets spread out around the world in all the different languages and monetary systems and in every city and in every nation and every culture to make sure everything's under control and handled properly. Well, guess what? That shit's going to end too. Because we don't need children running around pressing buttons on their phones to maybe say, make an announcement go on a bus system that says, oh, entering Fort Belvoir, please have your credentials ready when we're nowhere near Fort Belvoir. Or say, the smell of the air on the bus changes to maybe a smell kind of like ether. So as different things evolve and we understand what's been happening, there's not going to be any children running anything anymore ever again. It's coming back to the rule of the adults. And I hate to say it, ladies, but the men are in charge now. Y'all have had the reins for thousands of years. Thousands of years. The strangest thing is the uptick in male strippers and male prostitution. And dare I say, lots of people don't really want change. They don't want the evil to end. They just want their piece of it, or they want to run it. And that's not happening either. We're ending evil on planet Earth. And who said so? Well, I just said so. And if you really know how to pray, and if you have elders on the planet, they'll tell you the same thing. You know, we don't take bullshit and we see through it. Kind of like when they have the different trash bags for recycling and garbage and landfill. It all goes to the fucking landfill. Ain't nobody recycling anything in Washington, D.C. And if this is the nation's capital, ain't nobody recycling anything anywhere. Enjoy it. It's called, I don't know. I won't tell you. I'll let you decide. You decide what to call it. Just don't call me. Well, there's a few people I want to call me. Other than that, don't call me. Just don't. I've been sitting here 3.5 years waiting for someone to call me from the past, or a friend. And when the government sends 2 of their workers to give me $5 or $20 and they talk to me for less than a minute, well, it's not that they're showing that they're my friend. It's that it's being illustrated that they're not my friend. And unless they were told, like little children, go do this, they wouldn't come out to see a brother. Which means people from Reston, Virginia never really called me brother till the end. And it was all a big fucking lie. And you were on board with all that experimenting they did upon me. And when you said, oh, Than, we didn't know that was happening to you as when you were a kid. Well, everybody called me Than Vistus or Than Visdos growing up. And I guess basically my brother as a child was programmed by other people in South Boston, Virginia, and from Pittsburgh and from the Schrass family, Carnegie Mellon and Westinghouse, to call me Than from the jump when we were tiny little baby kids down in Southern Virginia, South Boston, Virginia. So it's not really the fault of John Visdos that he is part of this. He was brought in as a baby, but he became an adult, and then he brought his children into it, and then they moved to Texas. And if you like the Misfits, which is a band you should probably listen to, just remember this: Texas is the reason. I'm just going to say that. Texas is the reason. So, all y'all people who think you're hiding your shit, I suggest you really know what blockchain technology is. Blockchain technology is how basically, over the past 5 years, that's since the public has known about it, so blockchain technology's maybe been around for 15 years. And it tracks every micro photon on the internet, and it knows who did what, who did it when, and it can actually probably go in and look at who did it because of the cameras that watch you out of your phones and your computers that go, ee. See, there's these cameras and there's this one, ee. And sometimes you'll see it switch between them. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I better get off the phone now before someone comes and goes, ee, to me. Good night from Washington, D.C. USA. USA, which means USA. It's what folks maybe who don't really care for the United States of America might call this place. USA. Yes, sir. Whosa? USA. I'm not really for Uncle Sam, but I'm also not for dismantling what we have here, because if we dismantle this country and this government, there's not another government that provides the opportunities to make the changes for the future that the United States of America government makes. And they make it on Capitol Hill, and I can see it out my window if I look that away. Later.